Hi, so I'm going to give you some tips and ideas about how to meditate on your fears. And that might be a strange concept for you to consider because maybe you think your meditation practice is all about feeling peaceful and calm and certainly trying to not bring in any fears or worries or anything else that you have going on in your life. But that's a really missed opportunity if you're not embracing those things into your meditation practice. Because you see, for me, fears are just mental constructs. They are like imaginary bars on a cage that you've formed around yourself because of the way that you think. And because you think that way, you construct your life that way, and you feel that way, and you behave that way. So when you start to dismantle the thought processes that create the fears, then you actually start to remove the cage that limits you from doing what it is that you're supposed to do. And that's really important to me, because if you have any fears about teaching children meditation and you try to pretend they're not there, ignore them, that's very unlikely that they're going to go away, and it might stop you from even teaching children meditation. And I know how important it is for you to do that. So, if I have a fear, and I do have fears that come up, some are stronger than others, and some of them are recurring ones that have different dynamics or aspects to them. So if I have a fear, first of all, I try and recognize the physical sensation in my body that comes up with that fear. So I know for some people it appears in the solar plexus, it does for me, but for some people it can appear in the throat or the chest, or wherever it is. So it's getting to know where in your body you feel that sensation when you're having a fearful thought. Okay, so sense of fear. And I'm not saying that all fear is bad, because we do need some fear to keep us safe. But in this day and age, it's just about the becoming aware of how to process fears, because they may be really out of date fears that we're still carrying around. So recognizing the sensation in your body, and then starting to, well, first of all, I would breathe into that part of my body and try and encourage it to soften and relax, because if it's very tense and tight, I might become quite ungrounded. So I would practice that, just even putting my hand on that part of my body, because the sensation of touch can be very soothing. And then I would actually start to breathe in the fear. So I wouldn't try and push it away and pretend it doesn't exist, because I actually just, it gives more energy to the resistance. So it creates more resistance because I'm adding more energy to it. And then it helps the fear seem bigger than it really is. So if I breathe in energy terms, I breathe in the energy of the fear. I'm breathing in the fear. Then I take away any form of resistance to it. So actually it feels different. It will just feel really different. And then I would normally ask a question to myself in my meditation practice, something like, is this my fear because of I've experienced something? Or is it a fear I've inherited from growing up, or someone around me who's displayed this fear and I've taken it on as my own? So you have to find out whether this fear is genuinely yours, or is it something you've witnessed when you were growing up, and you've just, because your caregivers around you were demonstrating this, you've thought this is the way life is, so this is the fear I will have too. And if you find it is one of your own fears, then you can start to really breathe in the whole experience that created that. So, and this is an incredible healing tool that you give yourself by practicing this. I've used it myself for many different things, and it's so empowering and so enlightening as well. Just have such a different perspective on ourselves and our past. And of course, if we have a different way of thinking, we have a different way of feeling, we have a different way of behaving. So we start to realize certain situations and people may trigger this fear, and we start to use that as an opportunity to learn more about it, so that we become internally, energetically stronger with it, rather than be feeling weakened by it. So I hope that makes sense. I do a little bit more of this on level 2, part 2, actually, if you decide to join us in the virtual classroom. But I hope that helps for now.